Hey guys, so I just had my therapy session. I've been trying to quit therapy for so long, since November, and I told my therapist that. Alright, so one of the reasons why I felt I needed to quit therapy for so long, I did feel like very confused because therapy is a space that when you go, it should be a space that you're feeling heard, that the therapist is responding to you in a way where you don't feel judged, you don't feel that what you're saying has to be walking on eggshells. You're just your true vulnerable self, and you are not being penalized for that. You are not being admonished for sharing whatever thoughts and feelings that you have. That's the point of one of the biggest points of therapy, is to really create a safe space. So one of the biggest challenges I had with therapy, and I hope that this resonates with people who are watching, if you're struggling with therapy, just to continue going. Some people love to go to therapy, love having the space to vent, while others, like myself, find the resistance with it. Showcases, it kind of is like a flashlight, right? So I did feel angry because I was feeling what I wanted to feel from other relationships, so friendships and connections, and I wanted people to respond the way my therapist did to me. I wanted other people in my life that couldn't respond that way, and so I felt this pull, that it was unfair. It was unfair that people were not responding to me the way I wanted them to. But I also realized I was talking to my therapist in ways that I don't communicate with other people in that way. So what that means is I'm not as honest and I'm not as straightforward as I am with my therapist. So I think something I struggled with before, I was going to say, I think this can apply to you if you struggle with any kind of avoidant attachment, any kind of feeling like you get closed up to people who are supposed to be closest to you. Maybe emotionally you just freeze and you don't really share the depths of what you're feeling. That's what was happening to me. And I don't want to just make it known to you that therapy is supposed to help you realize those things, that you're going to be in a temporary space where someone is validating you, where someone is creating a safe space for you, and you're going to have an increased desire for that to be replicated in other areas of your life. And many of the reasons why we don't have that can stem from ourselves not even being honest that it doesn't exist. We're not voicing our needs. If you're not voicing your needs to people around you, how are they ever supposed to know how to be receptive towards you? And that being said, some of you may have voiced out your needs, and then that was met with a harsh resistance, or that was met with gaslighting, or that was met with you being criticized and condemned for feeling the way that you do, or overreactive, or being called dramatic. And that would cause anyone to shut down. So one of the biggest takeaways to take away from therapy is when you cannot have the connections that you truly want from the people around you, how can you create new ones? And how can you foster that within yourself and I'm going to bring God into this, with God. I'm always going to bring God. The biggest thing is getting that right with God, because He will never fail you. He will never fail you. He will never make you, He will never do to you the things that you assume of Him, meaning like abandon you, leave you, neglect you, not hear you. He's always listening, always there, and we may not be able to feel that all the time, but He does not change. And according to the Word and according to what He has shown time and time again, He does not fail. So one of the biggest things for me, I don't know when you'll be watching this, but one of the biggest things that I have continually had to do in my journey is to fortify my relationship with understanding God the Father and allowing Him to really do the work in me, so that this is gonna be a little bit controversy, but there's this topic that I'm delving more into and researching more about separation. So when we talk about attachment to primary caregivers, attachment to romantic partners, a lot of the wounds that we suffer from childhood trauma that surface into adulthood is caused by attachment wounds. So something I have been felt to just question God more about, ask Him more about, seek the Word and seek research and all that is the idea of attachment, and how as we grow older we must learn how to healthily have love for people, but not be so attached to them. And why I'm saying this is because humans fail, and when we're too attached to humans, we have this weighty expectation of them to meet certain things that they may fall short of, and then we harbor anger and bitterness and very valid feelings, but we cannot allow that to constantly happen. And when people are constantly not meeting your needs, there's pain. So we have to reorganize who we want the needs from. Are they even able to give it to us? And if not, we're going to have to shift. So something that I've been, I would love to share more about as I go into it more, research more about it, but separation, healthy separation from people, so that you love them, but you're not putting every expectation and weight on them because you're attached to them, right? And this is also with partners. Like when God says two are one, we're not just literally fizzing into one person. He means that two hearts are one. So you are laying down your life for each other. That's a different kind of love, right? But again, they're human, and there's going to be expectations that your partner may fall short of. And so we have to always remember our primary attachment is from God and to God. And when we understand that, the attachment to other people won't be as intense. Healthy attachment to people is important, and sometimes we get too attached, and that becomes unhealthy attachment, anxious attachment, right? And then we get the avoidant attachment. So I kind of just want to, when we put under the umbrella secure attachment, that's where I get a little bit is it secure if it's an attachment, because as people, we're not attached to people. We're not, right? We come out of the womb and we are one, right? So once that umbilical cord is cut, that physical attachment is cut. And I think that's why they call it attachment wounds, because we are physically attached to our mothers, right? Just some thoughts I wanted to share. So research attachment theory, I could do a video on that, but I really recommend that you do your own research, figure out how you relate to any of the styles, ask God to speak to you about it, and let him do a work in your heart, renew the pain that you have within the attachments that are not fulfilling to you, and let him guide you with getting new connections into your life, trusting people again, people who have hurt you, forgiving, allowing them to show up for themselves. And that's where the attachment comes in. If someone like your mother, your father, a family member hurt you deeply, when we separate from that attachment to them, we can see it from a third person's lens of this person has their own faults, they're imperfect, and that imperfect, I mean the fall, like from fall of the sin, but faults and that imperfections have affected them, and in turn that's affected us. So seeing it in that lens prevents us from not being able to forgive them, prevents us from not being able to accept them for who they are. So I hope that this shed light into any areas of your life where you're just stuck, and especially with people, right? Think about that. Think really about who are you attached to, healthily, unhealthily, how you can change that attachment to healthy love, how you can separate yourself from constantly needing from people, right? We can want things, but when we need, I can guarantee you that no one can meet all our needs. God can, and he will if we allow him to. So I don't want to run this too long, but I pray you have a great day, and I pray that God works in your heart in ways that you may not even be asking. I love saying that. All right, have a great day, guys. See you in my next video. Bye.